because of course we can't all have every platform play nicely together.
Yeah.
So
Technology, it's great and challenging at the same time, right?
technology is a fantastic thing when it works. And there we go. We're going live now on Instagram as well. So, welcome to Powered by Authenticity, a special lunchtime live event, which I love because I love spending my lunch hour getting to know some amazing people. And oh my gosh, Christina Duvall, you are one of those amazing people that we've been looking forward to speaking with. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Emily. I am so excited to be here. This is a good lunch hour. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, all of those things.
Yeah, so much like you, I believe you're from Buffalo, New York. I'm from
Oh,
Binghamton, New York originally. So
hi.
grew up in Binghamton. Now I'm in the city. I'm the president of CelebExperts and Renegade Talent Management, where we are a full service digital celebrity marketing firm. So we represent both corporations and individuals, really with a digital flair, as well as NIL and pro athletes.
That's amazing. So I didn't realize you were from Binghamton. That's great.
Yeah. Yep. Good old Speedies. Can't beat them.
Bills fan?
Yes, definitely a Bills fan. I mean, who doesn't love jumping through a table? Like, you
I
can't beat
mean,
that either.
I know.
Speedies and table jumping.
Oh, I miss football season.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right around the corner, though.
It
Definitely around
is.
the corner. What we have 2 months until things really start kicking. But how about those Knicks? Are you a Knicks fan?
I became a Knicks fan so fast. Like it was incredible to watch what happened in the city. Like amazing.
The energy here is magnetic and everyone is so kind. I'm starting to believe that the Knicks can solve all world problems. From the subway, people are bringing people in. There's no dirty looks. There's no any of that. People are just happy. My husband and I ended up going down to the parade after the main
Oh, you
parade
did.
because
Okay.
I think they got to capacity around 7 a.m. People were coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're like, we're not doing that. So we took our city bikes down and they were still going. They were still going. The fans, the parade was over. The fans were still going. And it was cool to see. Really cool to see.
Yeah, I know they put like the whole city singing like New York, New York, and like all of this, and you're like, that is just such an experience that people got to be a part of. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully not a once in a lifetime
Yeah.
experience, but I know it meant a lot to people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you here. And we like to do a little icebreaker. And we love food at the podcast. Like we just love food. Question for you. It's been a long day and you're gonna go home. What's gonna be on the menu after that long, stressful day?
Okay. So long, stressful day. I need some vegetables. We got to get those in there, right?
Yes.
But
All
we're
right.
not chopping. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. So arugula is like a mainstay in my house, without a doubt.
That's
Almost every day
awesome.
arugula. We love some arugula. And then probably shrimp. I'm a big shrimp. And I know I said don't chop, but I do love cabbage too. it's a very Polish thing of me to say, but you do love some cabbage. So probably like shrimp, arugula, and yeah, shrimp and arugula. That sounds about
That
right. And a
sounds
potato.
great. That's yeah, you got a potato.
And a potato. So yeah.
Now, is there a glass of wine coming with it, or is there like what's good?
Well, okay. So the glass of wine is going to put me to sleep, and I don't know if that's my age showing, but I it's probably some good solid water and maybe a swoon. I love those things so
Oh
much.
yeah,
Have you tried them?
I have. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
they're great. They're
Yeah.
great. So probably water. If I am having a drink, it's probably
Yeah.
going to be a little something stronger than wine. Maybe a whiskey or a dark rum. So that's
Oh yeah.
that's what we're going with.
All right. Well, I'm
Not
gonna
on
come
lunch
hang out.
hour. Not on lunch hour.
I
Not
mean,
doing that.
it's how work used to get done.
Exactly, right? Right.
Yeah, it's so funny. People say when they come to my house and they see a bowl of popcorn and a glass of wine, they know to stay away from me because it was probably a bad day. So it's like,
Oh, do you hand pop the popcorn like in a pan?
I
Me too.
do. A little
Exactly.
avocado oil or coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so good.
Yep.
Pink sea salt, delicious. No,
So much better than the bag stuff.
it really is. Yeah, it doesn't take that long either. So.
Mm-mm. No, it doesn't. It's good.
Well, well, cool. Thank you so much for just chatting with us about that. We think food brings people together, and I'm sure as we'll talk about some of the influencers that you represent, amazing food content creators there on your itinerary. So, but first of all, what is your job at Renegade Talent and Celeb Experts? As president, tell us about that role. Tell us about what you do from day to day.
Yeah, so day to day is really different,
Yeah.
but what it boils down to are sales, right? We are a sales organization. We are a full-fledged management firm for talent. We help them in all of their business endeavors, from brand deals to speaking engagements to watch parties like with Darian, and then things like perhaps launching their own products besides just cookbooks. So we're in the beginning stages of a few products that I can't talk about yet, but I'll leave the cliffhanger there.
Okay.
But we are a full-fledged talent management firm. And then on the other side, the brand side, we advise companies on how to scale and really drive sales via influencer marketing, celebrity marketing, and a full-fledged approach. So I work with Fortune 500s as well as startups. That could be anyone from big name celebrities to, more so up and coming influencers and
Mhm.
building out a full funnel. Ultimately, our special sauce is creative sales, whether that is, pitching our talent, or if
Yeah,
it is, on the corporate side, devising a plan and a strategy specific to that product and that need state that really allows for a cash flow, right? If we're
yep,
just doing creativity to create and it has no effect, not going to go very far. We
right.
need to kind of produce those results. So we're definitely results driven, and we are creative as we go about it.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And you became vice president at 22, became president at 26. That's super impressive. Like that's such an accomplishment. What words of advice? I mean, first of all, that's congratulations because that is something to really celebrate. But what words of advice would you give to others who are coming into a position, whether it's like yourselves and that role, just really any role, about how to leverage opportunities to advance your career?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's a lot more black and white than I think people think. And I think a lot of times feelings get in the way of decisions, whether that's
Mhm.
a feeling of fear, whether that's a feeling of even excitement.
Yeah,
It's just a feeling. And the decision is what moves the needle. And it may move the needle forward, it may move the needle back, right? But at
yeah,
least something's moving, right? So
yeah.
it's really about making decisions instead of kind of sitting in feelings, and kind of going from there. And at the end of the day, a lot of people ask, how do I get into the industry? The quickest and probably least barrier of entry to get into celebrity influencer sports marketing, or the sports business, I should say, is
Yeah.
sales, right? Because if you can drive revenue, that's really what makes the business world go around, right? It ultimately boils down to sales. So if you can master that skill, you're not only able to sell in your ideas that hopefully will also drive sales. You'll see this as kind of a reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
But you are really fundamental to the success of a company, and that's important.
Yeah, and I think it can be hard too when you first start out, like figuring out where your niche is going to be, even like within sales. Sales can be so hard, and figuring out the way you sell best, like the way you pivot your message that people are receptive to, that can be challenging.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I had been at a sports agency interning, and then I got my first real big girl job, I'll say, at the New York Yankees. And I think anyone who's curious about sales, who wants to get into sales, the best place you can go is baseball, because the amount of games that you have the ability to sell to, the amount of leads that you have access to,
Yeah,
the standard was you're making 100 plus phone calls a day, 50 plus emails a day. That is a high volume. But the
yeah,
good thing is that really doesn't dry up. There are lots of people who go to these games. you really get to kind of cut your teeth and get a lot of reps and start picking up on patterns and what's happening, and really asking great questions to find that need state, right? What's
Yep.
important to them, identifying that, and supplying a solution to that. So
Yep.
I feel very grateful for my time at the New York Yankees, where I got to really cut my teeth and learn my sales angles and strategies and practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so interesting because baseball is like the longest season, right? It's pretty much, there are so many games when it comes to baseball that to your point, it's a great opportunity. You have so many like opportunities and games that you can sell to different people. And, that's amazing advice, I think, because it's such a long season for that sport.
Yeah, it's a very long season, 81 home games, and that's just home games. So you got some stuff to sell for sure, from suites to, and I guess it depends on how the organization's set up. But
Yeah.
never a dull moment, never not an opportunity to sell.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm a sucker for the Buffalo Bisons. I get a couple of suites every year. I think it's one from a business perspective, it's fairly low cost for me to like get a suite and host. I mean, obviously the Bisons are on a different scale than the Yankees, but it's a great way to bring people together and a great networking place, because people love to be outdoors. They love the food and the way it brings people together. So it's from a business perspective, like I'm like first up every year when the Bison send that first email, because it's become such a way for me to leverage baseball as a way to network for my business and podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you don't go to a sporting event to sit alone, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go to talk, to cheer, to scream, to do whatever you want, eat, whatever that reason may be, but you do
Yeah.
it to be around people. Otherwise, you would stay home. So it's a great experience for networking. There's lots of people to talk to. There's lots of people there. There's lots of excitement, and you either bond in a win or you bond in a loss.
Yeah.
Either way, it's happening, right? So
Yeah.
love baseball for that, and it really it is a family friendly atmosphere, and for the most part, pretty affordable to kind of get into. And I would say for the most part, people know how baseball runs. It's not a super complex for the new, I guess you could say, watcher to learn. There's
Yeah.
obviously finesse and nuance and all that fun stuff, but definitely a low barrier to entry sport as far as being exposed in childhood.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that advice if people are looking at where to get started. And what about just your leadership style as a whole? I mean, I would imagine cutting your teeth with an organization like the Yankees, you got an opportunity to understand how to lead through when somebody says no, lead through those great days. So, what about just your leadership style as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most important things is you can't be a leader who's also a hypocrite. So if I'm asking my team to sell, that's because I'm out there selling,
Yeah.
right? If I'm asking them to close deals, I'm closing deals. I can't say one thing and do something else, right? The other thing is while I'm definitely in a different element of sales, the principles are still the same. There are millions and millions of people out there. There's millions of companies. There's millions of ways to do business, and it's about getting crafty and creative. I think a lot of times people think of sales as very linear, very dull, but I find if you bring that sense of creativity and become kind of a creative salesperson, not only is it more fun, but you ultimately get bigger deals and you have more sustained impact.
Yeah. And I think too that's like an example for your team. Like if you can find a way to have fun every day while you're out there at the grind, and when things do go awry, not you don't seem like that person you can't go talk to. I've worked for people who when something goes wrong, you're like, oh, I'm not going to pick up the phone and tell that person. Like you don't, and so you feel like you're always on the like just a delicate balance, and having a leader who's warm and welcoming and understanding that things go, positive and negative day to day. It's such a great culture that you're cultivating for the organization as well.
I like to say, and I think I sent a text yesterday to actually our intern who made a mistake. And I'm like, did anyone die? And
Yeah.
no one died. So we're all right.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I was just at Starbucks and I felt so bad because the cashier had made a mistake and the person like for the person before me and she started crying. She's like, I'm gonna get fired. I'm like, oh boy, I don't think you're good. If you get fired over that, just you shouldn't work here in the first place. Like
Yeah.
people make mistakes.
Yeah. For sure.
So,
For sure.
yeah. Well, I know in addition to some of the other influencers that you do represent, you have some powerhouse female athletes that you're representing. How meaningful is it to be representing and showcasing women's sports?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I got my start in men's sports.
Yeah.
So the Yankees, prior to that, I was an intern for a UFC fighter from Binghamton, Tamden, McCrory. So I was very lucky to not only be able to work with these powerhouse athletes, but also to see what a high level of representation looked like,
Yeah.
right? What does that quality look like? How are they treated? What do these deals look like? I got an inside look at kind of the highest level of representation, right? And management.
Hmm.
So when my sister ended up becoming a professional volleyball player, and when NIL came about, because our agency was actually one of the first management firms for influencers back in the day, when NIL became a thing, and prior to that, actually, I'll take one step back. Prior to the influencer work, the agency represented about 500 Olympic athletes. So it was athlete to influencer pivot. And then when NIL came about, there was the opportunity to combine both. And I was talking to my sister, I saw the rise of volleyball, and I frankly saw the lack of representation, right? And that
Yeah.
could be either a element of, people not knowing volleyball is a viable sport, right? For representation.
Yeah.
Also, probably people who shouldn't have been managing talent get in the sport and really do some not great things. So I felt very called and compelled, especially to these young women who were really building up their businesses. So I represent some of the best and biggest volleyball stars out there, from Andy Jackson, Manaya Molly Cage. I mean, Kat Bell. I have a full list, and I also recently signed a soccer player, Mila Brock from Nebraska. I do a lot of work with the Nebraska athletes, and then I have a phenomenal hockey player, Alexi Aija, as well as gymnasts, and Dara Torres, who is a long time athlete here at Renegade Talent Management. I believe the CEO has worked with her now for like 30 years.
Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
been a while. She's a Hall of Famer, just an incredible human being.
Yeah.
To get these piercings, that was fun. But yeah, really just phenomenal women I get to work with and kind of teach them about the industry and make sure they're also protected from things that may sound good, but perhaps are not.
Yeah. And what a great opportunity. And could you tell everybody NIL? So you've referenced that in there. Can you explain what that is for everybody?
Yeah. So NIL, how it's referred to in kind of the lay terms, is really college athletes getting endorsements, right? They're making money off of their name, image, and likeness versus just their sport, right? So
Mhm.
um, now that is, they're getting deals with the schools and they're getting paid by the schools, but it's also brand endorsement deals that for so long they were not able to take, right? So
Mhm.
it's a new element, or a new-ish sort of element to this complex collegiate sport landscape. Whereas the pros, they could almost always, if not always,
Get
monetize
endorsement.
off of their
Yeah.
name, image, and likeness. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's so interesting. And I mean, that's just opened up a world of opportunity for yourself to be able to go in. But I would also think, to your point, protect the athletes because now they have somebody also watching over and helping them to understand how to navigate a possible brand deal or some other representation opportunity that they may have. So now they have somebody like yourself who can help protect their best interests as well.
Yeah, and I think, and this is true for influencer, this is true for everyone. I think oftentimes people may think because they have Instagram, they know how to structure a deal, they know what to look for. It's just a video, right? Um, but these videos can have long lasting impact. It's not uncommon where some brands will try to sneak through claims that the talent is then liable for. Or ask for terms where it may sound great, it's your first 10 grand deal, that you're doing.
Yeah.
But that 10 grand deal is going to cost you $50,000 if we don't structure this correctly, because it's going to really, they're going to have perpetual usage, or there will be elements that will preclude you from really seeking out other opportunities. And what does that look like?
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. I have to say, from a podcast perspective, I'm running into similar things. There's ways that we have that I'm having to learn how to protect, myself that I didn't know about. And it's like, oh, so I can only imagine when you're young and you just want to play sports and you have an opportunity to make some extra money and have your name become a household name as you advance your career. There's people who are probably not necessarily always on the up and up with that as well. So
Yeah, certainly. And with increased TV rights, there's going to be more opportunities coming about, especially with women's volleyball, right? They keep on getting new TV rights deals. They're going to be, Nebraska's going to be playing at AT&T Stadium, Wrigley, T-Mobile Stadium this year. Those are all wonderful, wonderful opportunities and big stages. Talk about a baseball stadium, Wrigley. But with that will come also challenges, and the power of no is sometimes more important than yes.
Yeah.
So really analyzing each opportunity as it comes, but also analyzing the opportunities lost by taking a potential deal is really, really important to weigh in.
Yeah, and I think that's a great lesson for no matter what you do as your career or where you are in life, is that sometimes saying no is actually the better option than that quick win that you may get.
Yeah. Looking at it from all angles, making sure it's a good fit. And again, that's not only from a monetary perspective, but from other perspectives as well. Is it going to put you in a position where you're going to have a greater visibility? And I know no one wants to do work for visibility, but if there's a PR budget attached to something that you're no longer having to pay for, I mean, that's something to consider.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm learning the importance of protecting the brand. A quick win may not be worth it in the long run if it does something to damage the brand reputation that, I know so many people work so hard day in and day out to achieve. So.
Yeah. And I think with a lot of new influencers, people getting into it, the first thing they want is monetizing their brand. And that can be at a very large detriment in so many ways. If you're able to, have another job that you're able to earn income from, so you can really curate your page and your brand, so that's not a factor in deciding, that's always the best way to go. And then kind of monetizing it when the opportunity is correct, and you can make a decision based off of, again, not feelings, but, a business aspect. That'll be a long-term gain versus a loss. That's really, really important. And in order to really have that, you can't be quote unquote desperate for money, right? You have to be able to look at it from a standpoint of long-term gain.
Yep. Yeah. And I know I've talked to a few people who it's their side hustle, right? Like they're building it up on the side, and then, through either job loss or just they get to a certain point where they're able to monetize on a day-to-day basis. That side hustle then can flip to their full-time job. But to your point, it's not about building money first and monetizing your opportunity first. It's more about building the brand and respect and influence of what you're representing, and then the money will come.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And I think oftentimes with the virality of social media, we assume that that'll come overnight. That's often built for a very long time. Yeah. There's really no quick fixes, especially now with how competitive social is. Perhaps 5 years ago, right? Perhaps when, TikTok launched or something like that launched, and there's these big jumps forward because, that's the only media people are consuming. But the reality is that it's built off of months, if not years of growth and really keeping tabs on what's going on in the world, keeping tabs on what's going on with your brand, and consistently showing up.
Yep. Consistency. That word comes up all the time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's tough. But well, in addition to sport, and I love what you're doing for women in sports. I think that is amazing. My niece is actually an athletic trainer for Major League Soccer.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah, and she
Very
loves.
cool.
Yeah, she wants to. She right now she's in Alabama, I believe, with a team. She wants to go to Europe, so that's her next big
Oh,
hurdle of trying to get to Major League Soccer in Europe.
very cool. Good for her. Good for
Yeah,
her. That's, I mean, soccer as far as the United States is expanding rapidly, but
yeah.
obviously Europe, it's a mainstay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love all things sports and females because I think it's just such an opportunity, and I love to seeing women excel. And I'm so happy they have you to help protect them as they grow their brands themselves. Outside of sports, you also have a lot of food creators that you represent. We met actually at Chef Darian Bryan. Shout out Chef Darian at his watch party for Next
Yeah.
Level Chef. Um, how, how amazing is it to, first of all, represent so many food influence? Because you had more than one person on the show that you represent, but
Yes.
how cool is that as a moment for yourself to see them take that big screen and go from influencer up to being on a show with Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah, I had Chef Darian and Chef Cole, both
Yeah,
phenomenal, phenomenal. And I had had a lot of clients on the show, not winners, but clients on the show in past years as well.
yeah,
It's cool with Darian. We had met, I want to say 2.5, maybe 3 years ago through actually Azuna, Scott Dancy. Shout out Scott, love him. They just did a video together. You can check it out for Azuna. But
awesome. I can see it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, cool.
yeah, it's really cute, and they did a great job. But both awesome people. But Scott had introduced us years ago, and Darian was an established private chef, so he had worked with some of the biggest, best NFL players. Obviously, owns Brett's Hill, and now he owns Reserve. That was just launched. So the soft opening was launched last week, and then the Plating Society, which is where he holds his kind of private event. So Darian had the skills. There was no doubt about it that this man could cook. And if you've tried his Rasta pasta, amazing, amazing, so good. Death row meal for sure, the oxtail one. But with Darian, it was really cool to kind of see him grow and grow and grow month in, month out. I mean, he had the big Ram commercial. We've done programs with Dawn, and it was all in timing. It's not like 3 years ago he didn't want to be on the show, right? But it
Yeah,
wasn't necessarily the right time.
yeah,
And everything aligned, his hard work, his dedication, his just sense of self and confidence. If you see the way Darian and Cole, Chef Cole,
yeah.
really presented themselves
Oh,
through
yeah.
that show, they acted with integrity. They acted with, you know, just such pride in what they do and refinement. And those chefs can cook. So the moment we may have known that Darian had won, right? But the moment he won and the whole bar at Rec Room erupted, I mean, it was like you're watching a national championship winner. And to see his kids kind of embrace him and his wonderful wife, Jessica, who's just phenomenal. She's actually from the Binghamton area as well, Johnson City, believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So go
Cool.
607. But seeing that erupt was just such a cool moment. And he's just going to continue to skyrocket. And so is Chef Cole. And I've
Yeah,
had a number of talent on that show, and they've always had phenomenal experiences. And I represent the best people in food, and everyone's so
yeah,
unique. From Danielle Brown of Healthy Girl Kitchen, one of the most followed food bloggers in the world, 12 million followers, two-time New York bestseller, Chef Genevieve. I have this wonderful roster of food creators and chefs that
yeah.
I'm really honored to represent and kind of help them find their path and achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah, and I think it's so. So one, I will share. We were at the party, and there was some people. We were walking downstairs to get ready to just go congratulate Chef Darren, and there were women in front of me, and they said, "I feel like the Buffalo Bills just won the championship. I
Yeah.
feel like this is how." And it's cool to see that, and I can't imagine what it's like for yourself representing, a couple of amazing just people, and the opportunity that it would bring. But just, it's got to feel so, that's got to be just a cool moment for yourself in your career to be like, this is partly why I do it. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, and with Darian and Cole, they worked from the bottom all the way up. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at Darian's story, and he came to Buffalo because he wanted to build a snowman. That's why he picked Buffalo, and then was riding his bike in those horrible winters in
Yeah.
Buffalo to Denny's to put himself through culinary school, where he kind of forged his own path. Um, it's a really incredible story to be a part of. And then Chef Cole, I mean, she was a Navy veteran, and she built her brand and she built her business, and she's just been kicking butt. So to see people who have put in the time, the effort, and have just had the success, and I will share that success built over years and years and
Yeah.
years and years and years. There were no quick hits with this. This is hard work, and the timing kind of aligning.
Yeah. And, we were talking a little bit before the show, and that, in 2026, this is a real job, like content creation, being an influencer, like these are real jobs that you have to work really hard at becoming successful at.
It's true. It's true. These are real jobs. It's a highly competitive job. So I will say that, and I will caution people when they're building their brand, because followers also don't always equal dollars, right? There has to be
Mhm.
something more, and there has to be a strategic point of view, an
Yeah.
interesting element. It can't be copy and paste, can't be repeat. And there's elements you can monetize and elements you can't. So even if you have 10 million followers, doesn't mean you can monetize that audience.
Yeah.
So really building, if you want to build a place of monetization, building that authentic community, but also having monetization in the back of your head as you're building it. I'm not saying grabbing the money right there, right then, but
Yeah.
as you're building your community, think of places that you could potentially monetize. For food, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Lots of food marketing. That's great, right?
Yep.
Um, and then for athletics, there's a lot of things that are pretty self-explanatory. But if you want to expand, like for a lot of my athletes, like we've done programs with Ipsy Beauty, right?
Yeah.
That's an important part. Makeup, hair, TJ Maxx and Lexi Ija. That was a phenomenal program. She is such a badass. She is probably one of the most muscular, gorgeous women I've ever met in my life. And, it was that element of I can do both, right? I can
Yeah.
be an awesome powerhouse at my sport in hockey, and I can also dress up and feel good and kind of show this other element of myself. And those are fun too. But the way that works is if I can't see it, I can't sell it. So if you're a food creator who's wanting to get into, I don't know, car programs, I have to see some cars on your page. I can't sell it
Yeah.
just because you like cars, right?
Yep.
We're selling something that we see.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one thing too, that you mentioned, working with brands. So this is, the non-traditional media approach. So and you mentioned Azuna as well. I mean, you took
Yeah.
that product from concept to its top of its product category now, using the influencer and content creator market. How does that really change, like, how you go about being able to just bring products to market? You're using a whole new group of media.
So Scott Dancy is one of a kind. I mean, he is one of my most favorite people, period, hands down. And I think what's so cool about Scott and Azuna is that he's always been fearless and open to testing, right? And testing over a period of time, and finding new ways before other people do, to really monetize. Right? Are we 10 steps ahead? And I've been very lucky to have a CEO like Scott trust what we do and trust our ideas and trust our creative, and really going out and being able to do it.
Yeah.
So that's been extremely fun. And I'm very, very, very lucky to work with a CEO like Scott. It's interesting, we've been with the company now as their influencer and celebrity kind of marketing arm, for about three or so years. And it's just been this wild, fun ride, maybe four. It may have even been longer than that. I don't know. I've known Scott for a while, and it's just been so much fun.
It's just fun.
It's been one of my favorite programs I've ever worked on in
Oh,
my career.
great.
So it's been a great experience. So
Yeah.
it's been cool. It's been cool testing new things, testing new platforms. Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it now going to be Snapchat? I don't know. We got to test. We got to find out. Is it going to be in real life? Does it make sense to get other talent in there? What does that look like? Right. So it's been fun. It's I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's very stressful because you're like, I hope this works, I hope this works, I hope this works, right? You think it out, but at the end of the day, the proof's in the pudding, right? Did it
Yep.
work? Did it convert? Did it have a purpose? And if you can answer those things and it fulfilled a purpose, then you're winning. If you didn't, well, time to go to work, right?
Yep.
Back to the drawing board. What can we do? What can we compound? And what can we test?
Yeah, that is first of all, it's cool to have that that liberty to be like, okay, we're gonna try this, and if it doesn't work, we'll go back, we'll pivot. So to have that flexibility in that relationship is amazing, and I think um, you know. I can't wait to see other brands continue to pick up on that. Sometimes it's like you post a video and you're like, this is going to go viral, and you get 2 views. It's kind of that similar thing where it's like, let's try something, see how it performs, and then if we have to pivot, we can, or if it excels, great, let's run with something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely interesting, and every brand has a unique state, right?
Yep.
So whether it's working with these kind of big Fortune 500s, that strategy is going to be much different than a startup, and where that startup is going to be different, right? If it's a startup that's on the path to acquisition, that's going to be a very different plan than a startup who nobody knows what they're talking about and they need
Yep.
dollars right now. So every strategy is different. Everything's white glove. We look through it holistically and we build out a program that has impact.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because if you're a startup and your sole purpose is to at some point be acquired and
Yeah.
exit that as an entrepreneur and owner, that to your point, that's a completely different lens to put how you're going to promote and try to pivot quickly for that organization versus growing and expanding a full brand that you're going to stay a part of for long-term success.
Yeah. Yep. And then seasonality and,
Yeah.
driving traffic to retail. Is it going to be D2C? So there's a lot of elements and a lot of new things coming out, like Substack and experiential is back, and diving into those things. It's really important.
Yeah. Yes. Never a dull moment for you.
Never. I can tell you that right now. Never. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, not only are you a voice for the content creators and for influencers that you represent and for your athletes, but you're also truly a voice and an advocate for others in the industry. So you have spoken in front of Congress on STEM. You also served as a congressional witness for social media and the digital economy. What is it like to be able to step in front of an audience like Congress and serve in that role?
Yeah, both times when I had, I guess you'd say, experiences with Congress, they were two very different things.
Yeah.
The first was STEM. I had been very lucky. Donna Crossman was my first ever mentor, and she, I believe, don't quote me on this one, but she is now one of the head psychologists for a lot of the VA systems. She's doing amazing work. But I had learned from Donna how to do research in this specialty program, and it was done through not only this high school program, but also done through Binghamton University. So that was a really great experience. I found out very quickly that I needed to be more forward-facing and not in a lab. But it was still great because that was one of my biggest findings, and that transitioned me into sports.
Yeah.
The second time, I remember seeing this email come in, and it was a .gov email, and my two thoughts were, "What did I do?" And it was spam. Oh man, I was like, all right, I don't know if I should open this. Is this a phishing scheme? But I looked up the woman who had emailed me, and
Yeah.
I got on a phone call with her, and I was getting interviewed, and then a couple days later I was in Washington D.C. So you find out really quickly. You don't have a lot of time to prep, but this was something that I've built over years. Again,
Yeah.
we were one of the first influencer agencies, and Congressman Williams, who is the head of the Small Business Committee, which was where I was a congressional witness for, he asked me some really awesome questions as it relates to women athletics and protecting those businesses,
Mhm.
to, you know, what businesses need and the hiccups and problems that these small businesses may face, because it's one thing to be a conglomerate with lots of resources, and it's another
Yeah.
thing to, you know, be scrappy and, you know, just start something out. And there's, again, so many pitfalls with that,
Yeah.
and it's really important that people are knowledgeable, especially lawmakers, right? They
Yeah.
may be, you know, driving policy that have little to no impact, or, you know, may have negative impacts. And it was a great experience because all of the congressional, not only the congressional witnesses were phenomenal, but the congressmen and women that were asking us questions were also very inquisitive of how they could help and be more helpful. So it was a wonderful experience. It was awesome to be able to highlight some of my clients on that stage too, but
Yeah.
also to, you know, hopefully make some impact as it pertains to more than the people I just represent.
Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing when you have, when you have that influence and you use it to help share knowledge, because this is probably a different market space and a different career again, than maybe traditional lawmakers when they think of advertising and they think of how dollars are brought forward and how people are represented. What you're bringing forward is probably different than some had been exposed to. So I congratulations and thank you for doing that, because you're laying the groundwork for so many others to be able to come in and be successful. So thank you for taking that on.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. And it was definitely an honor to be able to do it. And I'll definitely remember that. I got a nice pinstripe suit, you know, the money suit
Oh, did you?
with it. Oh yeah, of course. Got to look good when you do it, right?
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh, I love that. So one other question I had is, because this is new, because there's challenging days, because any entrepreneur, and I do see the individuals that you represent as entrepreneurs. They're out there, they're trying to build their business. What do you say when someone's just had a rough day? What do you say to them?
For talent, or
Yeah,
are we talking yeah, talent. I mean, here's the good thing about social media and the bad thing, right? The bad thing is there's always something new. The good thing is there's always something new,
yeah,
right? I mean, this little blip of an issue or a problem or bad feedback, none of this is, you know, fully detrimental to your career for the most part. I say that with a grain of salt. Like, let's not do anything where we're going out and doing really, really bad things
yeah,
consistently, right? So take all of this with a very large grain of salt. But for the most part, things that seem so dramatic or detrimental, the attention spans are like this these days. Just
yeah,
move on. Just
yeah,
move on. Wake up. You got 10 fingers. Shut off your phone. Goes away. You can put it away. It might be hard, but it can go into the other room and you can live a normal life for 24 hours
yeah,
as you reset. So nothing, no, almost, there's almost nothing you can't dig out of, and there's almost nothing you can't come back from.
yeah. Yeah, I love that advice. I think that's actually really good advice. Put the phone into another room for 24 hours and kind of let things slide and then come back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, you know, get off of it for a couple weeks. It's not going anywhere. Neither are you. It's just an app, right? It's a
Yeah,
business, right? I'm
yeah,
not belittling its power, but you also have power to kind of control the algorithm by shutting off your phone.
yeah.
So you can do that too.
Well, I love that advice, and I love the advice that you gave your intern that you mentioned as well. Nobody died, and we'll come back to it.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
It's good stuff.
Well, we do have a couple of questions from people who are watching live. One is, did you have any words of wisdom on how to follow your dream to enjoy what you do and succeed in this competitive workspace?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because, you know, I am very fortunate to be able to work with phenomenal people.
Yeah,
Like I got the dream. I mean, you've met Darian at this point, the
yeah,
best, right? And
yeah,
Danielle and all of my wonderful clients, Andy, Molly. I could spend an hour listing how wonderful they all are. But I think it's also understanding that there are going to be moments that are going to suck, and it's going to suck, and it might suck for a while, and you got to figure it out, and just accepting that everything's not, rainbows and butterflies and things like that, but also being able to accept that you're capable of doing hard things and getting past it, right? The good times are fleeting, so are the bad times. That's the good part about it. But also, finding things outside of work that, give you joy and passion. Right. So I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful husband. I love boxing. That's something that's really important to me. I was there this morning at 6 a.m. with my wonderful coach. But not putting all of your joy in one basket and calling it work. It's not sustainable. Perhaps there's something that comes through in a couple of years where my job's no longer relevant. I don't think that's going to be the case. There's always a human element to things, but that's, who knows with AI, right? Who knows? And for me to put all of my joy in work and all of my meaning in work is just, it's not smart. It's not smart. And having a good group of people around you is, it's good. It's good stuff. And that keeps you grounded. It also keeps you from, completely spiraling out from the bad things that will inevitably present themselves.
Yeah. That is amazing advice. And I love hearing about doing things outside of the office. I think people get so wrapped into where they are from their career. And, if I take a break even for, an hour every morning to go work out, the world's going to crumble. It's actually not. It's going to put you in such a better headspace when you get to the office that, those 8 hours that you're there, you're going to perform and feel better.
Yeah, it's true. I think you have to have hobbies. I definitely work around the clock, but that 5 a.m. little golden hour for me, it's beautiful. No one's awake. I can do whatever I want. It's peaceful. I can work out. I could drink coffee. I can do whatever, and I feel like it propels instead of detracts from my abilities that day.
I love that. I'm a big fan of the 5 a.m. wake up call. Yeah, it's just even just to sit and have a cup of coffee and just kind of take a moment before the chaos begins is just a different way to start the day. So.
It is. It's that moment of, silence and peace and really, just, quietness.
Yeah, absolutely. We have another question. It's more about Chef Darian. How long does it take to tape the show? So how long as a whole did it take to tape Next Level Chef?
I don't know if I can answer that. So I'm going to have to plead the fifth.
That's fair.
Go on Reddit, see if you can find something there.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good answer on that one. It's interesting, and we'll probably I wonder how long it does it. I didn't really think about that. So cool. And then the last question I'm seeing, just that we'll go to, and then we'll kind of get wrapped up. But what is the most valuable piece of feedback you've ever received?
Yeah, be aggressive.
I like it.
There was when I was an intern, and I didn't know I wanted to be in sales.
Yeah.
It was kind of my last resort because I always thought it was like a dirty thing, like a salesperson. Oh my gosh, gross. But I saw this guy come in and he was like suited up and he was like talking on the phone, and like I went into his office and he had like all these pictures of these huge deals that he did, whether they were airplane deals on, I can't remember, Virgin Airlines or something like that, with some of the biggest people you could believe in. And, just his lifestyle as well, right? The earning ability in sales, it typically, outweighs any other career, right? And coming from a place where my parents were not, entertainment professionals or really salespeople. Like I helped my mom clean houses at college to be able to afford to do what I wanted to do. Right. So I came from a very different background, though. I did not come from a place of poverty. I came from a place of not really being in this entertainment world. Right. And I found this path, and I got to see him, and I got to learn more about him. But I also noticed that he wasn't necessarily the most liked all the time. And I started to notice this pattern. And he was not mean. He was not rude. He was not anything. He was extremely aggressive. He was aggressive with his goals. He was aggressive with his time. He was aggressive with the way he went after things. And
Mm-hmm.
he had told me, he's like, you're going to get pushed back with this. He's like, ignore it, move on. And I will say, that has caused me to put my foot in my mouth multiple times, and has put me in uncomfortable situations, but it's also put me in positions where I became the VP at 22 and the president at 26. So
Yeah.
be aggressive, unapologetic. I'm all for it.
I love that. That's great advice. I think people tend to shy away from, being able to speak up for themselves, and the value that comes when you do, and it can feel uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to have that little bit of discomfort. But oh my gosh, the change you can make for yourself and others is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and that fear is also just a feeling, right?
Yeah.
Just a feeling.
That's very true. We were talking to a girl who was voted quietest in her graduating class. So it takes a lot to get that out of you as
Yeah.
you get older. So I happen to now pivot probably more towards the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I was a shy kid when I was younger as well. I
Yeah.
was definitely a shy kid. I don't know what snapped out of me, but I don't know, maybe it's the height. I don't know. But maybe I just grew. But yeah, no, it's no one's coming to save you, but no one's coming to stop you. And yeah, gotta open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. So
I love that. That's definitely very good advice. So thank you for sharing that. I'll probably send you the rest of the questions. We can kind of talk offline about those. But what I would love to know, anything fun on the horizon that you want to share with everyone?
I mean, I have lots of fun stuff. I can't share the majority of it though until it goes
Oh,
public. So, no, I mean, we have some amazing food shows.
yeah.
We have some incredible talent. My RDNs like Samar and Cassandra are doing incredible work, and Jasmine, and I just signed some more talent that again I can't release yet. But
Yeah.
my volleyball girls are, Lexi Rodriguez and Molly McCage are right now on the VNL, which is kind of sort of like, it's like the national team. It's volleyball does things a little bit different, but for ease, it's the national team, and they're competing internationally, and it's super fun. And then my Nebraska girls are getting ready for their seasons, and gymnasts are getting ready for their season. So lots in the works, and as soon as I can share, I will do that.
Yay. Well, I look forward to hearing all about it. We're excited for you. Is there anything that myself and my team can do to help?
No, I mean, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily, for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Oh, well, you're great. Well, thank you for spending your lunch hour with me today.
Thanks for having me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, I mean, can we do this every day?
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Perfect.
thank you. We really appreciate it. And I was very fortunate to, Christina, we always record out in the community, and I belong to our local Chamber of Commerce. So
Yeah,
I invaded the Chamber of Commerce offices today. They've
very
been
nice.
Yeah, so they're very sweet to host us. So we want to give a thank you to the Genesee County Chamber of Commerce. And again, Christina, thank you for joining me. Thank you to everybody who joined us live as well. And thank you to the subscribers and listeners. And Christina, have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Emily. You as well. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.